Hey folks, how you doing? So as part of our activity of dropping the front axle, two things I need to do. I need to disconnect the linkage from the pivot arm here, and I need to disconnect the dampener here. Okay, so the steering dampener is a 3/4. Zip that guy off real quick. All right, I cut our pins out. Make sure that this is the same size as the other one. I think we said it was a 3/4. 3/4, all right. Okay, loosened up. I'm not gonna take it all the way off, I'm just gonna bottom it out. So now, take these off. All right, yeah, so this guy's already out. Nice. So now all we have to do is the pivot arm. All right, so when this thing goes, we should have a clang. And I'm trying to have it supported, but we'll see. I have succeeded doing that. All right, folks, some slow thing any day of the week. Okay, so that's out. So now I'm going to put my castle nut back on here because I don't want to lose those. I'll slide this off of my, that was a big bang, wasn't it? Steering's out. Hey folks, and we're back. So we are taking off the steering dampener, this guy here, which is a, I think it's an 18. And we'll be getting started on the track bar, which looks like it is a 15. So let's do the easy one first. Let's do the stabilizer. Okay, it came off. So now we're just gonna loosen this guy, take it off all the way, and we're back. So it looks like it's a 19 bolt on the back side of this. So I'm just gonna see if I can do the thing here. Bolt out while holding on to my steering dampener. Let's just jump that out. Cotter pin back here that I need to straighten out. Cotter pin. All right, folks. So the castle nut up top there is a 19. All right, got that broken loose. All right. Okay, I'm gonna pause and get this off. Hey folks, I took a pickle fork and a big hammer and beat the hell out of this thing, and it's loose. So just need to do that down there and then loosen it up, and I should be able to get the track bar off. That is going to obviously have to do now is loosen up the other side of this track bar. This little piece here is attached to a bolt on the reverse side of this. So the point of this is to keep the bolt from moving. I hope it doesn't break. If it does, then we'll have to snake a wrench up in there. Hopefully we won't need a bigger breaker bar, but who knows. All right. All right, yes, so this is that, it's a nut with this little holder in place there. It's kind of convenient, so we definitely want to make sure we don't lose this. These are pretty hard to come by. They often, they'll just get rusty, and these little attachments will wear out, and then you'll have to fish it up there yourself. folks, so I'm just doing a little investigation here. I'm noticing that my track bar, the bolt goes through. It looks a little bit, it's a little oblong. It's really like kind of, I don't know, kind of rusty and really kind of jagged on the inside. So this one seems fine. It's a little bit oblong, but not horribly so. There's definitely some wear on that. So anyway, I'm gonna have to figure out how to solve that problem. I don't actually know how to fix it, but I'm sure someone will give me their knowledge. So thanks. Hey folks, Dr. D here. So we are back working on the front end of the 97 Cherokee. Today I'm removing the front drive shaft from where it connects up to the diff. These are 5/16. They're pretty tiny. So the way to get this off, you should have to wedge something inside of the universal, and then just kind of jockey these off. I've already loosened up the other two of these, so now we're just on to the last one here. So I'll get this guy around, dislodge myself from here. All right, last one. Alright, so now we're going to, put a milk crate underneath of this, just so when it drops it doesn't slam. Basically I'm just going to pry this off. Okay, and there we go. So as part of our front end project here, we need to remove the shock. And so we're going to start with the bottoms. It's a 10 on top, and underneath here there are 13s. So I think what I'm going to do is just use a wrench on top and 13s bottom. Two. Okay, so both of the bottoms are out. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top side, and I'll show you how to get the top of these out, and then we'll compress it and pull it right out. All right, folks, and we're on top now. So right here, the top of the shock mount. This is a 14, sometimes if you notice here, so this is actually it's the rod that goes down into the shock. This will occasionally spin. If it does that, put a vice clamp on there and just hold it off. So I'm just going to zip this off and then we'll get started. I'll just spin this off by hand. Okay, so just grab your nut, and this whole piece here actually just kind of comes off as a unit. You just slide it off. We do want to make sure that we maintain all this stuff here in the same configuration. Now we're going to go back under, and I will show you how to dismount this guy here, or whatever. So that's the part that we just undid. That's the part that we did earlier. I'm just going to push up on this part. Okay, once we have it cleared from the bottom, I'm just going to, so it's got the bottom, I'm just going to pull it out from the top, like that, and we are clear. That top piece that I took off earlier, so I don't lose anything, Put my nut back on. Just so I don't lose stuff. Bottom mount's on too. Just again, because I don't want to have to go fishing around and losing things. All right, folks, well, that was removing the shock. Obviously, after we do all the work we have, we'll put them back. Maybe I'll get some nicer ones too. These are kind of dumpy. Okay, folks, so I broke the banjo bolt free here. There it is here, and I'm just gonna unscrew it and get something to collect the brake fluid as it comes out. I'll probably get some gloves on just to keep myself from dying. And then I'll plug that hole with one of these little stoppers, and then we'll get this out of the way. All right, I'll show you what it looks like after I'm done. All right, folks, so here we are. I have the banjo bolt off. I have the banjo here. I plugged it with a little silicone cone, which actually works pretty well. You know, it's a little bit drippy, so I'll probably take off one of my gloves and just wrap it around here and zip tie the top of it just to, you know, collect anything that happens to come out. And we'll get rid of our caliper, get this out of the way, and move on to the next one. Hey folks, okay, so I have the banjos off of both sides, and the caliper's removed. I put that little silicone cone inside of the banjo to plug the hole, but I'll collect it up and then we won't have to deal with that mess. So slide this over here. Thanks, folks. We'll do the same thing to the other side to keep